Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a huge get. Kerry Combs had to get out there and immediately get on the recruiting trail to try and lock that down. Cameron Martinez, upon the departure of Jeff Hafley, wanted to slow things down, make sure he knew what was going on. Schools had certainly not given up on him. Notre Dame, Northwestern. I talked to a buddy of mine at Northwestern who said that the Cats, were going to offer him. He could play anywhere, offense, defense, hell, play quarterback. They don't have one right now. I mean, I guess Hunter Johnson, but things hadn't gone so well there. So Kerry Combs gets involved, relentless recruiter, does great in recruiting in the state of Michigan, was able to lock that down. Big news that came out that they got him locked down to play defensive back. Some questions amongst the recruiting types is, will he be able to translate completely over to corner? Is he more of a safety? What is he at this point? With Kerry Combs leading the way, I think they'll figure it out pretty quick.
Steve, your thoughts on Mr. Cameron Martinez?
Well, I think it's tremendous. And I think, again, you're getting kind of a utility player, a Swiss Army knife that can do a lot of different things. I think he was more of a runner as a quarterback than as a thrower. I think that's where a lot of people saw him at the high school level, was an outstanding offensive player. I think Ohio State looking at him as an athlete and a safety prospect, I guess, maybe a corner. I don't know. I guess get him in and have Kerry Combs and Matt Barnes get a hold of him and work him out and see where he's going to fit in. Could be outstanding on returns. I had one guy said he'd be an outstanding slot receiver as well for Ohio State. But then you look down the list on this class, and they took 4 wide receivers, as we like to say, classically trained wide receivers, guys who are going to play that position full time. And you just wonder, is there any room at the end for a 5th guy, as an H-back or whatever. But dynamic with the ball in his hands, and still some potential for that to happen as in the return game potentially, or if things don't work out on defense and put him over on offense, I suppose. But this is an Ohio State program under Ryan Day that in my mind, and I don't mean this in any kind of a negative way, people are signing up to play offense at Ohio State in record numbers. Defense is an area where they need to continue to work as hard as they can to get the best defensive players out there. And, maybe the jury is still out a little bit on Ryan Day as a defensive recruiter. And this was an area, as much as anything, where they need bodies, given some of the things that have happened over there. And obviously when you lose, it helps to have Sean Wade back, but you lose Okuda, excuse me, Jordan Fuller and Damon Arnett, who were seniors. You knew you were going to lose them anyway. They did need to replenish a little bit on that side of the ball. So I'm excited. They had one commitment, obviously, that fell through. Was it Clark Phillips, Kevin, who exchanged and went to Utah. So in some regards, this would have been tough to lose another guy who was ticketed, so to speak, on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm excited from everything I hear that, a Michigan Player of the Year has picked Ohio State, and just from the standpoint of seeing what he can bring when he gets into the fold.
Yeah, but you bring him in at this point, and you put him on defense and say, but we'll see where you're going to end up at this point. If you sit there and you have him coming in and say, well, maybe we'll take a look at you at the slot. What does that mean for Mookie Cooper? Does Mookie Cooper look elsewhere because of that? Sometimes you just have to get all the pieces in, and then you kind of figure it out at that point. So, I think the fact, though, that Kerry Combs has gone all in, and I don't think it's just necessarily the fact that he's now, de facto Michigan recruiter again, but also because he's going to be, he's the D coordinator, will be working with the corners. I think all of that's very important. It's pretty indicative of, that they're going to give him that first look on defense. But Steve was right in saying that he truly is a Swiss Army knife and can do a lot of things well. Just going to be a matter of seeing what translates to the next level.
We got Ohio State Buckeyes Live coming your way on a Friday, the voice of college football, as you can hear. We were giving way to Kevin Noon from Rivals, Buckeye Grove, Steve Hellwagon, of course, from Bucknuts 247 Sports, as much as possible Not that you don't want to hear more from those two gentlemen than myself on a regular basis anyway, but this just adds to that factor. We appreciate everybody jumping on the line. And of course, we're going to be here till about 1 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll take your comments and questions straight to Steve and Kevin. Talking some Cameron Martinez, the only commitment from the early signing period who has yet to sign, but he has confirmed that commitment. Number 4 player at his position in the country, according to Rivals. Number 7, Michigan. Number 7, Michigan player from Muskegon, Michigan. 14th rated athlete, according to the 247 composite. Number 323 overall national player, Cameron Martinez.